Hey patrons, how's it going? This is Big Lair here on Jack's Private Coffee Corner. I hope everyone is doing well. Today is January 6th for me. It's the morning here. It's around 10 a.m. in the morning, a little later than I normally make these videos, but today I had a few things to do, help my wife out with something. Made my kids French toast. That was good. Okay, so this is the daily crypto update video. But before I get into the cryptos, I just wanted to show you guys a couple paintings of mine. I had mentioned, I think in a few videos, that really what I'm good at in life is art. You know, painting is one of my passions, although I haven't done really any painting, so to speak, in about 10 years. Yeah, 10 years I think it's been. I've done some things with colored pencils now. When you hear colored pencils, you think of kids maybe or something not so serious, but with colored pencils, I'm able to make drawings that look like photographs. Unfortunately, the colored pencil drawings I've done in the last 15 years, those are in America. I took those to America last year, just a couple things to America, left them at my mom's house as a promise to myself that I'm coming back to America, moving to pick up these things. Those drawings are very valuable for me. One of them is a portrait of my wife, so in colored pencil, by the way. So anyway, I don't have any way to show you that. I didn't have the presence of mind to take a photograph of those drawings. Darn it, I wish I had. But I do have a couple photos of paintings I've done, and I'll show you a couple. Okay, let's go to the first one here. This first one, as you can see, it's a bodybuilder. No, it's not me. Whenever people see this painting, they say, wow, is that you? Nope, not me. This is the first painting that I ever did, meaning that I think a week before, no, about 3 days before I started this painting, I picked up a paintbrush for the first time in my life. And then I remember this like it was yesterday. I was sitting in the painting room at my university, and I knew I had to, painting was one of the required classes for an art major, and I had brushes and paints, and the teacher had showed us a few simple, techniques, how to hold the brush, how to do this and that. And I went into the painting studio at night by myself, sitting there with a couple pieces of paper and some acrylic paint and my brushes. And I just messed around on a piece of paper. I did a landscape, kind of a nice landscape. I like it, actually. I still have it. In fact, I did that about, 30 years ago, right? Anyway, so I sat there with the brushes and messed around. And then I literally, and this is no joke, I'm not making this up. This is the honest to God truth. I literally felt like God himself or some Holy Spirit came down through me, into me, and showed me how to use the paintbrush. And, I don't know how to describe it, like I was touched by God, but I really, really felt like something, like God himself came down through me and said, this is how you do it, Larry. And then I remember sitting there thinking, that's it. Cool. I got up, put my paints away, washed my paintbrushes, went home, came to school, 2 days later, I believe, and started that painting, the one you're looking at, the bodybuilder there. And the interesting thing is when I look back to when I was a kid, I drew a lot when I was a kid, a lot of drawings. And for example, let's say I'm 7 and I'm drawing. Every single day I'm drawing in my free time. And then for whatever reason, I just felt like, I don't feel like drawing for a while. I might go a month, 2 months. The longest I ever went without drawing as a kid was 6 months. The interesting thing is that when I would come back to drawing after that break, I would be better than I was before the break. So it was like that time where I was not drawing, it's like something in my brain was maturing. Some art ability or art talent was maturing, so that when I came back after the break, I was better than before the break. And I realized this. I realized this as a kid. By the time I was 8, I knew this was true. So, and I can remember being in high school, and the teacher had us paint a little bit. I didn't know what I was doing, you know. We were doing watercolor paints, which is very different from acrylic or oil paints. And, it was just so foreign to me, even though I was good at drawing. But then when I got to college and had this first painting class, like I said, I guess you could say that wasn't the first time I had a paintbrush in my hand, but it was the first time I had a paintbrush and I had to use acrylic paints or oil paints, which are much more serious than watercolor. I'm not knocking watercolors at all. I just... when you look at paintings in a museum, they're all done in oil paint. And some of the modern paintings are done in acrylic paints. So that's what I mean by that. So, that's really, really fascinating. And I've never done serious sculptures. Like when I'm talking sculptures, I mean like a typical Greek sculpture, like something you'd see, like I'm trying to think of a famous sculpture, like Michelangelo's David. Let's just use that, the epitome of sculpture, the top, the highest you can go, right? Michelangelo, he did Zeus, just amazing. He did the Pieta, right? There's the Virgin Mary with Christ, with the adult Christ in her arms, seated, just these fantastic sculptures. I've never done anything like that. However, I've had the thought in my head for about 25 years now that has said to me, when I'm ready, when I want to do it, I will be given the knowledge to do sculptures like that. And I also remember saying to myself, okay, I'll get back into art when I'm 50. I kind of quit in my late 20s. I had a few things happen that discouraged me, made me angry, actually. And I won't go into that because that's a unrelated story. But so I just said to myself, I'm not going to do art again until I'm 50. So just think, for about 20 years, I really didn't do much except these colored pencil drawings. And I've only done these for myself, not to show anyone. And one of the things I've done are these, difficult techniques. If anyone looked at my drawings, if they even, when I mean an artist, if someone who's a very good artist looked at these drawings, they would go, holy crap, how did you do that? So that's the kind of stuff I was doing just on my own for myself. Okay, let's move to the second painting, having spoken about God there. I don't know if you recognize this painting, but this is from the Sistine Chapel, the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican in Rome there. There's a part of the Sistine Chapel, the ceiling, Michelangelo painted all of these scenes from the Bible. This is taken from the creation of Adam. The one where God's finger is touching Adam's finger. He's putting life into Adam. And so this painting here is just the head of God. I thought that looked pretty powerful, so I painted that in acrylic. Michelangelo, he painted that in, well, it was a frescoes painting, right? Frescoes. So, they'd put the plaster down. He had a plasterer with him. The guy would put plaster on the ceiling, and then Michelangelo would have to decide, okay, how much can I paint today? Because the plaster was put down and you had so many hours to paint on top of it before it dried completely, and then you were just stuck, right? So, so there's no Michelangelo. I painted similar to him. He had no underpainting. A lot of, famous paintings, oil paintings, they used an underpainting. And of course with frescoes, there's no underpainting because you don't have time for an underpainting. You're just painting right there on the spot. What you see is what you get. And that's how I did that painting also, with acrylic. I've never been to the Sistine Chapel, and I haven't seen the original, but a good friend of mine in America, well, probably like my only friend in America, his father was a world famous sculptor. And when he saw my painting, he said, when did you go to the Vatican? And I said, I've never been there. And he said, well, how could you paint this? And I said, well, I saw a photo of it. He said, oh my God, let me tell you, I've been to the Vatican and that is a fantastic representation. That looks just like it. So that was interesting. And I painted that after the Sistine Chapel ceiling was cleaned. Now, there's a company in Japan called NHK. It's like a public broadcast company. You know, like PBS. In America, we have PBS, right? The public broadcast, what is it, system or service? I forget. But you know, it's the public TV channel. In Japan, they have NHK. I forget what the N, H, and K mean, but anyway, it's like the national public, you know, it's TV station, it's a radio station. They put out educational materials. They, you know, they pay for documentaries to be done. They put up the biggest chunk of money to clean the Sistine Chapel. So I was able to get a photo as soon as that was cleaned. And what's funny is that I was, you know, this happened while I was studying for my art degree, so it was really nice. And I remember before it was cleaned, my art history professor was showing us the chapel, saying, you know, the colors are very muddled, very grayed, and a lot of art historians have based their art careers. These are people who've written doctorates on Michelangelo, and they said while Michelangelo was very good at sculptures, he was a weak painter and obviously didn't know how to use color. And when I heard that, I raised my hand and told the professor, that's a bunch of shit. And I literally said that's a bunch of shit. And I actually knew my professor quite well. And he was, anyway, he was just kind of a man's man, so he didn't mind you talking that way if you could back it up with something. And he says, well, what do you mean by that, Larry? Have you been there? No, I haven't been there. He says, well, I've been there like 10 times. I've seen it. And I said, I don't know why the colors are gray and muddled, but I can understand an artist's mind because I'm an artist. And if Michelangelo could sculpt that well, absolutely he loved to use color. And I'll bet he used the boldest colors imaginable, because if I was him, I would have done the same thing. And I said, I don't know, maybe candles, you know, they burned candles, right? Maybe candle soot or something got on the ceiling. It's been there for hundreds of years, and that's just what happened. And for whatever reason, historically, no one wrote that, oh, these colors are so vivid and beautiful. Oh, isn't it terrible that they're getting, you know, muddled and grayed from all the candle smoke? I said, I don't know what it is, but that's just what I think. Absolutely, Michelangelo could use color. Well, during my degree, the ceiling got cleaned, the first photos came out, and I remember having the same art history professor, like in a different class, because now I believe it was a year later when these photos first came out, and he said, I want to make an announcement. You know, we've got one of the smartest artists in our in the university here, and he obviously knows more than some art historians. And I'm thinking, who's he talking about? And he said, yeah, Larry, it's you. And I'm like, what? Are you joking with me? And he says, no, I've got photos. They cleaned the ceiling. Look at these. And he said, you were exactly right. Look at these colors. It's just fantastic. How did you know that? And I said, I told you I'm an artist. That's what I would have done. And Michelangelo, more than likely, was a greater artist than I am. I don't know if I'll ever achieve the same level of excellence in art that Michelangelo did during his lifetime. But absolutely, that guy would have used really intense colors. So my professor said, do you realize there are people out there who've based their whole career on Michelangelo not being good at color? And I said, well, what's it going to do for those guys? So isn't that really fascinating that people didn't use common sense to understand something as simple as that? However, I knew it instinctively because I'm an artist. Now, I've often wondered to myself as I got older and have been developing, you know, my psychic abilities more. I've been able to, you know, go back and see past lives, re-experience past lives. I've often wondered, did I live during a time where I traveled to Rome and saw the Sistine Chapel ceiling with my own eyes, saw the tremendous color, you know, as I'm looking up at it, and then for whatever reason that memory carried through my DNA or my soul, however you want to say it, wherever our knowledge is stored, probably our soul, right? And maybe our DNA is, maybe the DNA is a physical manifestation of our soul, right? So maybe that knowledge was carried forward, and then when I was sitting in that class, I had that reaction of saying, that's shit, that's a bunch of shit, that's a pretty strong word to use. It has a lot of shock value if used at the right moment, like I did in a university art history class. It's a pretty dry setting. So anyway, yeah, isn't that pretty fascinating? So there you go, everybody. Those are 2 paintings of mine. I won't show any more because I don't want to make this too long, too involved with non-crypto stuff. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the paintings. Let me know what you think. Let's move over to our first graphic here. Okay, let's see. For some of you, if this is new, we got some new subscribers here. Welcome to the new people. Great to have you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Looking here, we can see we've got the price in dollars, and today's the 6th for me, so that's what I've got. So on the left column, all the cryptos, right? Moving from the left to the right, we've got the price in dollars, and these are the prices I took just a little bit ago. The next column, number of coins 1 Bitcoin can buy. So if you had a Bitcoin and you wanted to buy some other coins, how many of those coins could you buy with your Bitcoin? So for example, Litecoin, look at Litecoin, we could buy 170.2 Litecoin today with our 1 Bitcoin. The next column, more or less, that means can we buy more Bitcoin today than previously or less Bitcoin than previously? Now previously for me, if you look to the next column, it says January 3rd to January 6th, this peach colored column here. January 3rd to January 6th, price percent plus or minus. So when I'm looking at this more or less, the last time I took these numbers was Friday. That was the 3rd of January. So from the 3rd to the 6th, can we buy more or less? So today is the 6th. Can we buy more cryptos with our Bitcoin than we could have on the 3rd, or can we buy less? So if the number is red, a minus with a red, that means we can buy less. So let's look at Bitcoin Cash just quickly here. In that peach colored column, it says price percent plus or minus, right? January 3rd to January 6th. I've got it in bold there. So let's see, Bitcoin Cash, price percent, it went up 14.57%. The price went up. So from the 3rd to the 6th, Bitcoin's price went up 14.57%. That's good. And then if you just shoot over to that column to the left, more or less, it says minus 2.72. Well, that means if we had 1 Bitcoin and we bought Bitcoin Cash with our 1 Bitcoin, we would get 2.72 less Bitcoin than we would have if we had bought Bitcoin Cash on January 3rd with our 1 Bitcoin. And that leads me to my next idea here. So if we look at this column, this peach colored column, the price percent plus or minus, everything is up. All of the prices have increased from Friday. Sometimes I also note down the prices on the weekend, but recently we've had a lot of, the last week was really nothing happening with cryptos. The prices weren't moving very much. We just had a lot of down days. Once in a while, something, we have down, then maybe the next day everything's up a little bit. Just very boring. So I didn't even look at it over the weekend. And we can see today everything is up. All the prices are up in comparison to last Friday the 3rd. Now, sticking with Bitcoin Cash, so we can see the price is up 14.57%, but that more or less we can get, if we bought Bitcoin Cash today with our 1 Bitcoin, we would get 2.72 less Bitcoin Cash. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means so the price of Bitcoin Cash, it went up in dollar terms, and it's stronger against Bitcoin. Okay, so that more or less, if you have a negative red number, that means you can buy less of that crypto with your 1 Bitcoin. So you can have coins where the price is up. Okay, let's see, let's just pick one here. Okay, XRP. XRP, the peach colored column there, the price is up 4.27%. Okay, great. However, if you look at the more or less column to the left of that, it says 569.57. That means with our 1 Bitcoin, if we bought XRP with our 1 Bitcoin today, we would get 569.57 more XRP than we would have last Friday. So what that means is XRP's price has increased in dollar terms, but it has gotten weaker against Bitcoin. So if you want to know, have your cryptos really increased in value, you cannot only look at the dollar price, because like we're looking at now, XRP is up 4.27%, but it lost value against Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is one of the things that you have to benchmark your crypto against. You can't just say, oh, the crypto went up in dollar terms, great. Well, no, you actually want it to go up in dollar terms and get stronger against Bitcoin at the same time. So, some of you may already know this. If you do trading and you buy, you trade some coins back and forth, and you think to yourself, wow, yeah, okay, I increased my number of coins, or I sold XRP when it was this price and it went down to this price and I bought it back. But then when you calculate everything and benchmark it to Bitcoin, you realize, what the heck? I didn't make anything. I actually lost a little bit. How is that possible? I have more XRP than before. Well, that's because you weren't benchmarking it against Bitcoin. That's one of the things we have to do. So if you're trading cryptos at all, I would not recommend, for example, take XRP and Bitcoin. If you were, you say to yourself, oh, the price of XRP went up, I'm going to sell it and then put it into Bitcoin. And then, Bitcoin looks like it went up, and then you sell back into XRP. If you're going back and forth like that, you could get in a situation where you don't make anything. You don't make anything. What you need to do is if you think XRP really went up, then you sell it into a stable coin and you lock in the dollar value. And then when it goes back down, you take those stable coins and buy your XRP back. You should get a lot more back, and do it that way. But the other thing you have to consider on top of all of this is, is your value increasing compared to Bitcoin? Now, interestingly enough, a lot of people recommend different coins. However, many of them have not kept pace with Bitcoin. So, you could have put traded a number of coins. You could have taken, let's say you had a bunch of Litecoin and someone told you, well, Litecoin's not going to do much, but Stellar and Cardano are going to do really well, and you want to get some EOS and whatever, and you put your money into that. But then when you look back and you realize, I haven't gained anything, I've actually lost value. Jesus, if I would have just put it into Bitcoin, I'd have more value today. So there's a lot to look at with these coins, a lot to look at. So one of the things I always do is I don't trade between coins. I only trade between the coin I'm dealing with and stable coins. And in the back of my mind, I'm looking at the value against Bitcoin. Okay? So that's just something we all have to think about. Now, of course, you could be building up your stablecoin reserve, and then if Bitcoin dips down really, really low, you might decide, okay, like for me, okay, I'm with Tezos right now. I'm doing a lot with Tezos because I like Tezos, and I'm just focusing on it. And I sold at 2 different target prices recently, so I've got a bunch of stable coins. My goal is to buy buy Tezos back. Now, I don't have to do that, right? I could put that profit into another coin, an altcoin, right? Or even Bitcoin. And so if Bitcoin were to really drop down, I would be tempted to put my stablecoin profit into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has these can have these big wild swings in price. So we know where Bitcoin was in the past, right? So that's something you have to think about. Okay, but it's not as simple as, we have a lot of options here, and I'm giving you all of these options, and you have to figure out which is the best for you. Everyone has different goals. You have different things you're looking at, different considerations to take into account. If you haven't watched all of the Crypto Beginner Library videos, you really should, because that lays out a pretty good foundation even for trading, right? Okay, now let's move on here to this yellow column. It's percent of 1 year high. So what this means is, for example, we'll look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, the percent of 1 year high, it's 57.23% of its 1 year high. And then if we look to the column to the right, the green column, it says percent of all-time high. So right now, Bitcoin is 36.73% of its all-time high. It's all-time high, that 20,000 mark, right? And then if we go to the purple column, percent to all-time high, that means if Bitcoin were to go back to its all-time high, it would need to increase 172.28%. Would need to do that. Now, if you look at the numbers in the purple column, you can see some of them are highlighted in bold, and the cell is purple, because those numbers are pretty good. They're much higher. So Bitcoin is 172.28% to its all-time high. But there are other coins that are much higher than Bitcoin that look much better than Bitcoin. So as I just said to you, make sure that your coin is going up in dollar terms and that it's gaining strength against Bitcoin, right? Another thing we can think about is this percent to all-time high. Now, I've mentioned this before in other videos a couple times at least. When we look at cryptocurrencies, the history of the market is very short. We don't have a lot of historical data on the market. And one of the only things we can use to gauge where future prices may go is the all-time high of these coins. So, Bitcoin, 172.28%. But look at Bitcoin Cash. If it went to its previous all-time high, it would increase 1,850.57%. I don't know about you, but I would rather, if I put money into the market today, I would rather have a coin go up 1,850% versus 172%. Right? Bitcoin Cash would be a 10x, right? That would be awesome. Would it be more than that? Yeah. Anyway, it's 10 times what Bitcoin's going to go up. So if we said to ourselves, okay, we know all of these coins are going to go up to their previous all-time highs. If we knew that, right? If we knew that. Well, then no one would put money into Bitcoin, because you can see it's the lowest percent to its all-time high. I mean, if these were true, look down at Pundi X. The percent to all-time high is 12,496.77. We would jam all of our money into Pundi X, right? And watch that go up. That's, even 10 times more than Bitcoin Cash. So now we're looking at, wow, it's 100 times more than Bitcoin. Isn't that amazing? The same with Neo Gas. It's 10,349.09%. That is awesome. So, you know, there's also that information to look at. And so the purple boxes that are, you know, the cells that are purple with bold letters, if you look to the left, that green column, they're also green cells with highlighted numbers or bolded numbers. And those are because the percent of all-time high is very low. And you'll find when you have a very low percent of all-time high, that means the percent to all-time high will be much greater. Okay? Okay, let's just jump back and kind of take a macro view here of all of this information. As we can see, I mentioned, you know, Bitcoin Cash, the price is up 14.57%. Monero, look at Monero, it's up 16.79%. That's looking good. Theta, the price is up, you know, this peach colored column here I'm looking at now, is up 10.35%. So everything is up, looking pretty good. Look at EOS there, up 9.35%. That's good. Litecoin up 10.19%. So we've got some good movement here. Now Monero, I'm not so surprised about. And let's jump over to the market cap then. This is going to be a different graphic, the market cap. Okay, if we look here, now we have, you know, of course, the cryptos are on the left. The market capitalization, that's the next column. That's the orange one. And then the peach colored one, the daily percent change in market cap. This is telling us, has the market cap increased or decreased? And I take these numbers the night before. So as you can see, it says January 5th. The night of the 5th, or last night, I took these numbers. And I do that because what I've noticed is that if I take the numbers at night, it gives me a hint of what's going to happen the next morning when I take the numbers, the prices of the cryptos. And there are times when I'm able to see, oh yeah, this coin is going to go this way or that way. And that can be valuable information. Okay, so if we look in this peach colored column, daily percent change in market cap, right away we can see, oh, Bitcoin Cash, the market cap went up. Market cap went up. We can see Monero, the market cap went up. Tezos, the market cap is down 5.05%. Okay, so let's look at Monero. So the market cap jumped 14.64%, and this is from January 2nd, right? That'd be Thursday evening. And then I waited until Sunday evening to grab these. And then now for the week, I'll just do this every day. This is what I normally do. Okay. So it went up 14.64%. But look, 2 columns over, the daily percent change in trading volume, the light blue, the trading volume for Monero is down 45%. Well, I could see that the price of Monero was increasing. It was increasing last night, and noticing that the trading volume was dropping, I can say, oh, when you have an increase in market cap and the price is dropping, it usually follows the price trend. So the trend was increasing, so I figured, oh, the price is going to continue to increase. And, you know, today we saw the price of Monero, you know, it was up 16.79%, the biggest gainer of the cryptos I'm looking at here. So, you know, if a person had bought Monero last night, you may have made a little bit of money. And that's one thing I've noticed by looking at the market cap and the daily trading volume. They'll give you an indication. Usually, like so for me, I'm looking at it at night, so the night of the 5th, and then I wake up on the 6th today and look at the numbers, and I've noticed from the evening to the morning, the next morning, prices will either increase or decrease. I can't always tell if they're going to decrease or increase, but something like Monero, I was pretty sure. You know, it's happened before with Tezos. Looked at Tezos. Oh, the price is going down. The volume is down. Yep. Everyone, you know, whoever wanted to get rid of it sold it. maybe the selling continued and it went down. I've also seen the reverse with Tezos and NIO, to where the market cap goes one way or the other. The trading volume is a big increase or decrease, and it matches with that price trend of an increase or a decrease in price. Okay, so we see that. And the other thing we have to think about is the yellow column, this trading volume as a percentage of market cap. This is becoming more important as time goes on, I'm realizing. So for example, we look at, let's stick with Monero, right? If we look at this yellow column, so for Monero, the trading volume as a percent of market cap is only 4.6%. So only 4.6% of its market cap is being traded. That's a very small number. However, that amount of trading, of course it's a decrease, right? But that amount of trading was able to help move the price, 16%. And if we go to the, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to jump back to the January 2nd. I know you guys can't see this. Trading volume was down on that day. And on that day, the trading volume as a percent of market cap was 9%, 9.62%. So the trading volume pretty much got chopped in half. But there was a huge increase in the market cap. And the price went up 16%. So less than, it started out at around 10%, dropped down a little below 5%, the trading volume as a percent of market cap. That was enough, that amount of trading was enough to swing, to push up the market cap 14.64%. Now we can take a coin like Litecoin, which I've talked about in the past. Litecoin, look at that, the yellow column. The trading volume is 81.27% of its market cap. Now we've seen Litecoin at over 100% of its market cap. I want to say 121% was the most we've seen on this. And Litecoin, the price is only up 10%. It's only up 10% with this sort of daily trading volume. 81% only moves at 10%. We've seen it higher, 121%, and it doesn't move Litecoin's price that much. Not that much. If we had 81% of the market cap being traded on a coin like Monero, that darn thing would shoot to the moon, right? Would shoot to the moon. Tezos, look at Tezos. The market cap is down 5.05%. The daily percent change in trading volume, it's only 42.86%. The trading volume is only 1.05% of the market cap. Just that tiny amount of trading made the market cap go down 5%. So we know this about Tezos. We've seen this before. It's a tiny trading volume as a percentage of its market cap, but it causes the price to have some pretty good ups and downs. So the same thing, if we saw Tezos being the trading volume jump to 10%, just 10% of its market cap, holy mackerel, that thing would either shoot to the moon or it would crash and burn. So that's something else that's becoming really important to know about this, is seeing what the trading volume is as a percent of the market cap. It's becoming very, very important in my opinion. Okay, what else do we have here? Well, going back to the light blue column, we can see Theta, daily percent change in trading volume, the light blue column, 136.17%. And what did that cause for an increase in price? So we had a pretty good increase. The market cap is up 5.46%. What did that do to Theta's price? Well, the price was up 10.35% today. Not bad. Veritasium, market cap is down. What is that? 3.43. but the trading volume was up 198.57%. Look at that trading volume as a percent of market cap for Veritasium, 0.04. We've actually seen here on these videos that the trading volume, the percent change, we've seen like 1,000% increase on Veritasium, and the price can swing a little bit. Right? For a while there, we were seeing Veritasium move like $1.50, around the $1.50 a day, right? Up and down, up and down, up and down, sometimes $1. So Veritasium, this tiny, tiny, tiny market cap, can move the price enough to where if you were like a day trader, I don't mean a day trader where you're making these micro trades every hour or two, but if you just sat and watched Veritasium, and you watched it for a couple weeks and you noticed, oh, it trades between this band, just for example, I'm making these numbers up, but just for example, oh, Veritasium goes between $8.50 and $10, kind of stays within that band. Well, then you could wait till it hits, $8.50, buy some, wait till it gets, pick a target, $9, $9.50, whatever you want, sell it, let it go back down, buy it, sell it. And over the last month, like I don't have any Veritasium. I've been wanting to get it, which is one of the reasons it's on my list. It's in bold here. I thought $15 was a good price for Veritasium. The only thing is my rule is that I'm not putting any new money into the market. I have to trade my way to getting new coins. And so far, I've been doing pretty good with that. NeoGas, if we look at our list of coins here, let's see, EOS, Neo, Tezos, OMG, NeoGas, and Veritasium I have in bold letters. Those are the ones I'm focusing on. My original three amigos, I'm calling them, Neo, Tezos, and OMG, I've been trading the heck out of these guys, oh boy, for more than 6 months. And they've been very, very good to me. Very, very good to me. Neo, I doubled my Neo. OMG, I increased it 91%. Now I'm working on Tezos. And I did take some profits out. I had done really well on Neo and OMG from July to September. And I thought I was all done with that. I had forgotten that I had left $78 of stable coins on the exchange from my Neo and OMG profits. I don't know how I missed that. But when I was going back calculating everything, I thought, hey, wait, I'm missing $78. That's kind of strange. Went back to the exchange. Oh, it's because I had it in this stable coin. So then I bought NeoGas with it. Now, I bought NeoGas at $1.30. And look at it now. Jesus, now it's under $1. Was it a bad deal? I don't think so, because I wanted NeoGas. And in my opinion was, well, that $78, that was like additional profit. I could have put that $78 into OMG, and then I could say to you, hey, I made, over 100% on OMG. I more than doubled my OMG. But no, I was fine with a 91% increase. And I got NeoGas because looking at NeoGas, that previous graphic, NeoGas, if it goes back to its all-time high, it'll increase 10,349%. I can live with that. How about you? So I got NeoGas, and, I don't get all emotional. If I buy a coin and it goes down, I'm okay, because that was my decision. I knew going into it that that could be part of it. So I'm fine having NeoGas, even though I bought it at $1.30, and today it's at like 93 cents. I'm okay with that. Why? Because that was just pure profit. That wasn't new money being put in. I actually generated that profit and which allowed me to buy NeoGas. Now Veritasium, I'm working on doing the same thing with Veritasium. Hopefully my Tezos trade will go okay. As far as it is right now, if I bought back, my Tezos, some of my Tezos at $1.26 where it is today, I would get about, what did I figure? Around 98 to 100 Tezos free. How does that sound? That's way better than baking Tezos, isn't it? I can't remember how long would it take me to get 100 free Tezos from baking. Boy, I don't know. I baked for quite a while and didn't get anywhere near that. Anyway, that's beside the point. So I'd really like to get Veritasium, but I haven't. Why? Because I need to generate profits from my trading to get Veritasium. But you know, it'll happen. It'll happen. Maybe in the next few months here, if I can get my Tezos back and I'll get some Veritasium, and then maybe start trading that. Okay, so lots of information here, I know. Lots of different things to look at, and hopefully, you know, some of you, we've been doing this for over a month now. You're starting to get a feel for the information, to know what it means. Personally, I knew when I started this, you know, this second graphic here with the market cap, percent change, trading volume, the percent change of trading volume, you know, the trading volume as a percent of market cap and all this. I knew that this was valuable information. I just didn't know how to interpret it yet. But now I'm getting to where I can understand, oh, these things are important. You know, like I said, for example, if we saw, like, you know, Veritasium or Tezos, if the trading volume, you know, suddenly jumped to 10%, you know, some huge number, or even 5%, some huge number that it never ever touches, then we could say, oh my God, something's going on with these coins. And hopefully we could guess which way it is, right, and make some money on it. Okay, one last thing I want to say on this graphic here, this slide. On the very far right, it says meaning. That meaning is high. It either says high or low. That's high volume or low volume. Okay, of course, high volume is also high liquidity. Lots of institutional investors like coins with high volume. Why? Because they're very liquid. That means it's very easy to buy them and to sell them. Very, very easy. Of course, low volume is low liquidity. It may be difficult to get into and out of these coins. Now, Tezos has very low liquidity. For me, Tezos is not hard to get. It's very easy to get. Although there are times, you know, on some of these exchanges, you know, do you want to sell your Tezos for this stable coin or that stable coin, or do you want to do it for Bitcoin or Ethereum? There are differences in those markets. You know, if it's a big difference, if you want to get rid of your Tezos for Bitcoin, you can do it really fast. If you're doing it into some of these stable coins, it takes longer. You know, how I usually do it, I like to get on and see, you know, what's the action. I'm looking at the action. What's the trading price? You know, if you have a good exchange, it'll show you all kinds of information. It'll let you know the current price and what the recent trades have been. So, or you can just put in an order, right? You say, well, I'm going to sell my Tezos for this many Bitcoin. Boom, put the order in. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. So I haven't had too much trouble with Tezos, although at times, depending on the stable coin, it has taken a little longer. You know, I can't get an instantaneous trade, or I can't always get the price I want. Okay, and then like Veritasium, I only know a few exchanges with Veritasium. I haven't bought any yet, so I don't know. I can't give advice on, you know, look at that, you know, the trading volume is only 0.04% of the market cap. Will it be easy to buy that or not easy to buy that? I don't know. So I guess once I've done that, I can tell you about it. NeoGas, that was really easy to get. Really easy to get. I got a great price on it. I think I actually bought it for 2 cents less than what CoinMarketCap had it listed for. So that's how it goes. Okay, everybody. Sorry for making this so long. I hope this information is valuable. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Okay, you guys, take care. Have a great day.